Today we are looking at XeroLinux 2023.07 edition. So this is a boot menu of XeroLinux. Let's quickly boot it in a live boot. So it's going to take like a minimum of 30 to 40 seconds or a maximum of a minute and 30 seconds. It's clearly takes that much of time in my PC. It will be quick or maybe slow in your PC, depends on the PC requirements or the PC configuration you have. So I'm running it on a virtualization with VMware with the 80 GB of hard disk, 4 GB of RAM, and with two processors. And my CPU is i5 12 Gen. So I already made a video on Univalent Versatile Linux, which is a Japanese Linux distro. So I'll be posting two videos daily without missing any day. So there is already a video available in the YouTube. If you want to check that out, you can check that out after watching this video. So Zero Linux 2023.07 is a July edition of 2023, which is available in which was I downloaded it in like a few hours ago. So it was available or uploaded like 1 or 2 hours ago. So it is taking a few seconds here. Usually it should be booted, but I don't know why it is taking this much of time. I don't know what desktop environment we should be getting here. So I think we just have like a few seconds to boot up. It says welcome to Zero Linux. So I already made a video on Linux Mint 21.2, which is officially released, I guess, today. So I already made that one. Those ISO files are stable ISOs. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out in my previous videos. And I already made the Debian 13 Trixie videos. Debian 13's codename is Trixie. So I made like a 3 desktop environment videos on the Debian 13. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out, which are already available in the YouTube of my channel. So it's almost like a 45 to 50 seconds. We should be seeing a desktop environment, I guess. Usually it shouldn't take this much of time. I don't know why it is taking that much of time. So let's wait for a few more seconds and see. So the ISO file is not corrupted. If it's corrupted, it shouldn't boot this much of time. It should say like corrupted like that, but it is looking good. Almost a minute, I guess. Still nothing. It is taking a lot of time here. I just plugged in my charger so that it should be a bit speed, because Windows laptop will be speed when it's like powered on, not like the M1 Max or M2 Mac. It needs power. So as you can see, there is a mouse pointer as soon I plugged in the charger. And I forgot to mention that I'm using it on a laptop as a VMware. It's almost like a 1 minute 30 seconds, I guess. It is taking a lot of time here. I guess it's a stable ISO file, but I don't know why it is taking this much of time. Even the development ISO files or the beta version will be a bit quick here. Still nothing, just a black screen with a mouse pointer. Maybe let's Try to see something like this. Still nothing. I don't know which desktop environment it is right now. Usually the GNOME desktop environment will be also quicker, but we are still here with nothing. Maybe that's because I download it as soon as the ISO file is released. Maybe they should be fixing some ISO files sometimes. And here is our welcome screen. It took ages to load up. Let's first see the version. Welcome to the XeroLinux. Yeah, the ISO file is a bit laggy here. 1.2.6 is the welcome screen. Let's change the display. So let's first close the welcome screen and open the system monitor. So the desktop environment is KDE Plasma, as you can look. That's weird because KDE Plasma took this much of time. I know it's KDE Plasma is a heavyweight Linux desktop environment, but it took ages to load up. This is the best look here. As you can see, it's like a bit of jelly or jiggly. That's nice transition. Let's make it bigger and see all these things. Right now, the memory is almost like a 1.5 GB or 4 GB, and the CPU is also going uh, not that much of stable. It's almost below the 40%. CPU is also low and the RAM is also low, but it took ages to load up. Let's go to the applications and see how much of applications are running right now. These are all the applications running right now. Let's go to the history. And here you can see the CPU is not a stable graph, has no stable graph. There is a high peak here and here also. So we can't say this is a stable graph of the CPU. And we have RAM here almost 1.5 GB without running anything. Process running right now. Let's go to the process and see what are all the things running. So these are all the process running right now. Let's go to the overview and make it smaller and keep that aside. I'm going to keep that aside throughout the video, so you should be having an idea of what are the things going throughout the video. Let's open the terminal and type in few commands to get the some of the distro information. So this is a neofetch. There's already a few information here. Let's make it bigger and type in few commands to get all the distro information. For example, inxi. Let's wait few more seconds here. Let's type in another command, which is inxi dash small b. So I'm not going to read everything because it's going to take ages. You just need to pause the video and check out the information here. So let's type in inxi dash capital G. So let's type in other command, which is cat etc:/issue. Hit enter. Here is the information. It's based on Arch Linux. Let's type in neofetch. There's already information on the top, but let's type in again. So let's type in inxi-sv8. This is the same information as the above, but in a longer form. So here is the complete information of the distro. If you want, you can just pause the video and look out all these things. So let's type in desktop. That's the only thing left here. So here is the desktop. So we covered almost every information here. So let's close this thing. That's the sound of the Linux distro. So let's open the internet browser, which is a Firefox web browser, and let's go see how to download the XeroLinux. I'm going to show you how to download this thing from their official website. and it's also available in SourceForge. So let's see. Usually, the Firefox web browser should take like a 20 seconds to load up, and we already have the Firefox web browser. So let's first check the version of the Firefox. It's bit of lag here in this Linux distro. As you can see, there is a bit of lag or a delay. So CPU is almost like a 2 GB, not the CPU, it's a memory, which is RAM, and CPU is almost like a touching 100% for no reason. The version is a 115, and it's a point update, which is point 2. So let's type in the search term, which is a XeroLinux. This is the search term you need to type in your search engine or a web browser. I'm using a VPN, so it should be a bit slow here. So this is the official website. It says Arch Linux based. So there is already a videos of mine here. So this is the URL for the XeroLinux. If you want to download, you can just type in this URL. So these are all the information. If you want, you can read it here. So let's go directly to the download. It is taking ages to load something. So kernel is 6.4 point. So here is the chain log. So let's go to the downloads. So there are three mirrors available: SourceForge, GitHub, and Fast Torrents. It says uploading in the torrents, build repo, and download. I downloaded it from the SourceForge. Let's go to the SourceForge. You can go choose any mirror here. So this is the XeroLinux files. Here are some of the information. If you want, you can read it. So the ISO file is uploaded like a 4 hours ago, and we already have like a 771 downloads, which is one from me. So we have like a 2.8 GB of file size. I already downloaded from here, but it says as a downloads one. No, it says as a 0, but I downloaded it from here. I don't know why it says 0. No problem. Let's click on the download. And after 5 seconds, you should be seeing your download started here. Here is our download. The file size is around like a 2.7 GB, and I'm using a VPN, so it is bit of slow. It's almost 90% slower. So you can choose your server by clicking on problem downloading, and you should be choosing your server here. Like click on download and choose your server here. It's always good to choose the United States because it will be a bit faster. So let's close this thing, and let's go to the detailed release notes. Let's see if there is also a release notes about the 2023.07 edition. So here are the system requirements. So it says you need to have this much of RAM and processors. It says under memory, it says like a 16 GB of RAM for no reason. You don't need that much of RAM. I'm using a 4 GB of RAM, uh, but it is very laggy in the 4 GB of RAM. Maybe you should be having like a 16 GB of RAM. That's a weird and heavy resource consuming Linux distro, because almost 16 GB of RAM, if it's consuming, most of our users should be having like a 2 GB, 4 GB of RAM in their PC, but minimum requirement is 3 GB of RAM. People who has like a low end PC will be a bit of lag like me, should be seeing a lot of lag like me, but people who has a good end PC, I don't think people who has this much of specs will go with this Linux distro. That's pretty weird, because people who has like a 16 GB of RAM and like a Core i7 and good Nvidia graphics or AMD graphics will go with the best Linux distro, or like a Windows 11 like that, because they will be running like a games, all these things, who has like this much of specs. Even the normal user who has like a 8 GB of RAM and like a 2050 graphics card will be gaming with GTA 5 like that, and we'll be having like a Windows 11 or a Linux Mint like that of Linux distros, who will have like a Zero Linux I don't know. So it's clearly up to them to choose. So these are all the information. If you want, you can read it. So here is the information. I showed you how to download. So that's it for the download section. So let's go and open some of the applications. So these are all the apps which comes pre-installed. So as you can see under graphics, we don't have a GIMP, no problem. We have a Firefox web browser. Multimedia, we don't have VLC media player. We don't have a LibreOffice in the Office section. Under the settings, we have some software manager or app store. Under system, we have like all the information here. Just a basic and usual apps which comes with the KDE Plasma are here. Nothing fancy or anything like that. Let's check the other desktop features. Let's change the desktop wallpapers and see anything here. So here are some of the again desktop features which are commonly found in every KDE Plasma desktop environment. So notifications, volume, Yukaki, and a removable disk, all these things. I don't know why they're trying to make like Windows 11 and Mac OS, like giving the logo of Windows. So let's change the wallpaper. You can change the wallpapers here. You have like a Windows logo. I think this is a Windows 8 logo, I guess. Windows 8 logo has like a all blue, all green or blue like that color. So they added like a Mac OS, Linux and Android logos here for no reason. Solus logo, Raspberry Pi logo. Instead of that, they should be giving good wallpapers. So this is a KDE Plasma desktop wallpaper. So the RAM is almost 1.8 GB and CPU is going still crazy, not stable. So let's go with the installation. I'm going to show you the installation process if the installer is available. Dolphin, File Manager, System Settings. Let's see if the installer is available in this thing. Development, Graphics, Internet, Multimedia, Office, Settings. It should be available in, I guess, System, I guess. Do we have the installer here? Let's go to XeroLinux. Hello. And here is the installer, launch installer. It says as a rolling release. It's not a stable release, I guess. And let's see how much time it took. It took like almost 10 seconds to open the installer. I should say this Linux distro is like a heavyweight Linux distro because it says the required like a 16 GB of RAM to run it very smoothly. So first you need to choose your language, choose anything. I'm choosing American English. Click on next. This is again the basic installation style in every Linux distro. There is nothing complicated things here. You can customize anything you want here. Choose your location. You can provide any location here. Click on next. Here is your keyboard model. You can choose anything. Click on next. And you should choose your hard disk here. I'm using it as virtualization, so here is my virtual disk. So if you choose the erase disk option, it's going to delete the current operating system and it's going to install the XeroLinux as your main operating system. So if you choose the manual partitioning, you should be seeing the dual operating systems. It's like a dual boot option. You need to create a partition for that. So I'm choosing the erase disk and no swap XFC XFS. Sorry, I had a coffee. So if you want to encrypt, you can encrypt by providing the password. It should be same in the both the boxes. So here is the bootloader location. You can customize anything here. Click on next. You need to provide your username, password, all the things. Like I'm just going to type in some random thing, unboxing. and you need to provide the password. You need to provide the strong password for this. The password is shorter than 6 characters. Let's provide the password. You can reuse user password and root as a root password, login automatically. You can even validate the password quality. So I'm choosing the simple password like a 126, like that. You need to provide the stronger password. Click on next. Here is the summary of whatever you choose in the previous installation steps. After clicking on install, it's going to take like a 5 to 10 minutes. Completely depends on your PC. If you have a good NPC, it should be quicker. It should be quicker in installation. And if you have a low end PC, it should take ages to install. So that's the installation process. Let's close this thing. Let's even close the installer. So these are all the applications. Let's try to open like a bunch of apps at a once and see how good the Linux distro will handle. Let's open some of the apps like KWrite, and under the utilities, let's open like a 10 to 8 to 10 apps and see does it run smoothly or not. Let's open add and remove software. Under system, let's even open the what we have here, Dolphin. Let's even open the Gparted. As you can see, it is a bit of lag here and there constantly. It's not smooth because the maximum requirements is like almost 16 GB and minimum requirements is like a 3 GB of RAM. And as you can see, we don't see any application menu here. I don't know, maybe it should be a issue or the bug. As you can see, there is no application menu here. So maybe that's the end of the video, I guess. If you don't see any application menu, then how can we make a video? So I'm having like a 4 GB of RAM, but it's we are seeing a lot of lag, and we have errors. As you can see, people who have like a 2 GB of RAM, it is very hard for you. I'm going to say that for real. So we have our application menu here. Thank God for coming back. So under the system, we open the Gparted. Let's go to the office. Let's open the Ockler. We don't get that many of third-party apps. We just get the normal pre-installed apps from the KDE Plasma. Under the graphics, let's even open the GwenView. I think we opened like 5 to 6 apps. Already we have errors and bugs. Under the development graphics, we already opened. Let's go to the K color chooser. It's almost like a 2.5 GB, 2.6 GB, like that. So if you have a low-end PC, it's better to stay out of this Linux distro. I'm having like a 4 GB of RAM, and with a 12 Gen i5, I'm seeing a lot of lag and constantly slugginess. So it's better to go with other Linux distros which are stable and lightweight. If you have a low-end PC, I'm directly going to say that word for, because the maximum or the required requirements for this Linux distro is like a 16 GB of RAM. You need to have a high-end PC for to run this Linux distro. Even if you have like 8 GB of RAM, it will be still the a lot of lag here and there. So I'm going to say I'm not going to recommend this Linux distro for you. So even if you want to try it, you can try it on your own. It's clearly up to you. I'm not going to force you to don't use this Linux distro. So it's almost like a 2.6 GB. CPU is around like a 40%. So let's see the versions of the apps and end the video. So GwenView version 23.04.3. Let's close this thing. Here is the K color chooser. Let's close this thing also. Okla version is a 23.04.3. Again, KDE Plasma apps should be having the same version, so no need to open every app and see the version. So you should be seeing the same version in every KDE Plasma apps. So let's close this thing. Gparted version 1.5.0. Let's close this thing. Let's check the version of kwrite. Again, the version will be same. So let's close this. Dolphin file manager. And here we can see a bit of lag, heavy lag, I guess, about Dolphin, same as the other version. So here is the software manager. Let's check the version of the software manager. Again, there is a lag. Per Mac version is 11.0.1-2. So these are all the applications installed. So the version should be right beside this. We have a GIMP. If you want, you can install this thing, Blender. So these are all the apps if you want to install. So the installed version will be here. So these are all the installed apps. If you can't see this version, you can slow it down or pause the video. In order to slow it down in the YouTube, just go to the settings and go to the playback speed. Change this playback speed from 1.0 to 0.25 and you should be seeing in a slow-mo. So these are all the pre-installed apps which comes with the XeroLinux 2023.07 version. So everything is here. Let's go to the updates and check whether we have like updates or something like that. So this is the latest version just released like a 2-3 hours ago, and we already have like updates of 2 apps, and the file size is around like a 16 MB, so not the bigger size. So that's it, I guess. So let's go to the process and all the system resources and see. So these are all the system resources after completing the video. At the end of the video, these are all the system resources. There is no stable graph in the XeroLinux from the beginning. It's having like a high peak in every almost all the video. As you can see, there is no low graph, just here only there is all a bit of high peak here. So these are all the process running right now. So here is the overview. I think that's it for the video. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.